Today's podcast is brought to you by StrongHeartAcademy.com, where no heart is no victory. We are also brought to you by BJJ to go. If you want to build your game and learn Jiu-Jitsu, go to bjjtogo.com. Hi, I'm Professor Mike Martin, owner and operator and instructor at StrongHeartAcademy.com. I'm a third-degree black belt under Kyle Terra, and this is going to be my 23rd year of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So today I want to talk about being a symbol of success in Jiu-Jitsu or in martial arts. And I think there's a couple things we can talk about with this. You know, one of the first things that helped me just my life is the belts. Like, people get really weird with belts, like, oh, it's just a belt, or it's just stripe. It's just a piece of tape on your belt. But you could say the same thing for medals, military medals. You know, the Medal of Honor is just a piece of metal, just a piece of tin. And I've heard, certain soldiers talk about, they don't want their medals, but I've heard other soldiers what it means to them for that. And same thing when you're winning medals in a tournament, those type of medals, it's not a real gold medal, not made out of gold unless you're in the Olympics. And so the symbol of it is a powerful thing. So, same thing with titles that you have. What does that title mean? So for me, it was like a symbol of a level of success. And so that means that in my personal academy, we test for belts. There is time on the mat, and then that allows you to be ready to test. So attendance. It's attendance-based, then test-based. And so each stripe, there's a test at my academy, and each belt, there's a test as well. So you really know your stuff. You know your stuff. If you have the test, I don't just pass people. I give people multiple tries. But you might fail, and then you might have to retest. I take it serious, but it just taught me how to go, okay, set goals and time frames, because the attendance goes. I knew that, I have X amount before I fill my card up. We had to do attendance cards. And, I took this from my old instructor. And I go, okay, if I train X amount per week for X amount of months, I have an opportunity to get this. It does not, again, it's not that it's a given. Not at my academy. I know some academies, they just hand out belts. It drives me crazy. But I think it waters and dilutes the martial art down when you're just handing things out, But it gave me a point of aim to aim for, planning-wise in my life. And I applied that to the rest of my life. And once you start moving up the ranks, we also line up by order. So it's, when you're on a mat, black belts are at the front, and then we go brown, purple, blue, and then white belts. And I remember just moving up that line. And I remember one day there was just not a lot of people there or whatever, and I was the front of the line, and it was as a blue belt, I think. And, this is so long ago. There was less purple belts and brown belts, and definitely less black belts. There's so many now in Arizona, but there wasn't, in 2003 when I got my blue belt. So I was in the front of the line. I looked at him, I'm like, man, I'm in the front of the line. I remember when I was down there at the end of the line. And that was another symbol for me, of progress, a symbol of progress. And, it feels good to know that you're making progress, an actual way of determining and measuring progress. Sometimes you could just feel I feel like I'm doing well, but that is like a symbol of it. I've moved up. And the same thing with a stripe on the belt or a new belt. And I've achieved something, another level. And I felt like the symbolism of that is so powerful. to understand like if you're applying yourself to things in your life, not just jiu-jitsu, other things in your life, like you understand that like you can set a timetable for a goal. If I do this, man, I might be able to do that and get to that level. And the level of power in that is really hard to measure. I mean, it helped me so much. When I started jiu-jitsu, I just was very young and I had very little, and now I'm old and I have much to be thankful for. But so much of that is just jiu-jitsu and learning those concepts of the symbolism of what it means to accomplish the next thing. And then what that does is it puts you in a position of leadership in the academy too, because now I should know things that someone below me doesn't know. Even if my competency, like maybe because I'm injured, maybe because I'm older, or whatever it is, maybe someone younger could beat me, maybe has a wrestling background and like I don't or something. But your understanding of the techniques, because I have a test, should still be higher. Like even though maybe live you can't pull it off because, again, maybe you're 5'5" and like you're going against a 6'5" guy and he's almost 150 pounds more than you. Like there are factors in that, but at least my competency of knowledge is still going to be high enough that I become a person of leadership, that I can help others achieve the next thing. So like the symbol of success, like you put that belt on, like I have the level of knowledge and success in this martial art we call Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that I'm now a symbol for others to understand that like this is my place. And then there's also like on the mat we have, when we're wrestling and you're going to run into two groups are together, the rules are that the higher belt stays and the lower belt needs to move. So even where you are on the mat, if I'm a black belt and you're anything other than a black belt, I get to stay and you need to move away. Okay. Now I can choose to move. I don't have to do that. Like if I'm the black belt, I can still move. Maybe I'm in a position that's easier to move and they're in a, more flow position that's not established, hard to move and keep that position, then I'll move, but it gives me, again, the benefit of the work that I put in. I get that, I get that little real estate on the mat, and, you earn that spot. It's kind of like, sometimes the president gets to park in a certain spot at a, at the office, or, the CEO parks here, you get better parking, because you've earned that, and you've earned that position. Hopefully you've earned that position. But I think in jiu-jitsu it's similar thing. And then it just kind of teaches you leadership because now you're at a higher level. And as a young man, I think it taught me a lot of things about how to do that and how to represent myself in a way, because I'm younger and I teach, I was teaching a lot of older people. I was at a purple belt, I think I was 24, maybe 25 as a purple belt, and I'm teaching guys that are, in their 30s, 40s, and it helped me in my other job, which I was doing landscaping. And at that time, I was driving a truck, and I ran a route, and I had guys underneath me, and I was younger than them, and I kind of learned how to navigate that kind of like youth or age difference. Why should they respect me? But on the mat, it's very easy to go, oh, you look down at the belt, you're like, oh, well, you're a purple belt, so it's just that's what it is. Like I know that you have a level, and if the academy is again sticking to a level standard, which we do, which is testing for each belt, that is a symbol of success of like, okay, well, he knows what he's doing. So, despite his age or her age, he knows what he's talking about, and I'm willing to listen to, and I think this is, a powerful thing of like learning that concept of like empowering yourself through small little stripes on your belt. I mean, it makes a big difference, the confidence level that you get off of that. It's another thing I've talked about before too, is just the confidence, that you achieve through Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Winning medals, we'll do that too. Maybe we've been training for a while and there's a guy that can never tap this guy, and finally the day I get tapped this guy, and it's hard to, you go to work the next day and like people that don't train jiu-jitsu, they don't understand. So you're trying, talk around the water cooler and like, yeah, I tapped this guy. Like, what does that mean? It's hard to explain, but the confidence still is there, regardless if you can't explain it to your wife at home. She's like, oh, good for you, honey. Like she doesn't know what that means, but like, it's a big deal, it's a big deal. You worked hard to do that. And I think that increases your confidence level, but it'll increase your confidence level in other things in your life. Like, man, I work hard. I could do things, if I apply myself, I can achieve almost anything. Okay. And so that's just like the symbolism for me of like success in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and how it kind of bleeds out into my regular life. I hope that helped with you guys today, and just showing you how the powerful symbolism is, and how it could be a positive thing, and how stripes really do matter and belts really do matter, because it shows your competency, and competency is confidence. Thank you. Peace.
Let me talk for just a second, help me feel that sense of rhythm. Find the meanings in our bearings and discover this position as a stage along the way. Another rung to the ladder, either stalling or you're climbing, and I'd rather be the latter. Instead of getting fatter, let the footsteps resume naturally.